3, 4, I love the Marine Corps! Full Metal Jacket. A Full Metal Jacket was a movie that was produced in 1987 and is directed by Stanley Kubrick. Now this movie has to do about the Tet Offensive during the Vietnam War. It's based off of a book called The Short Timers. Now I've heard on online things that I read that it does not very much follow the book The Short Timers, but it's just kind of based off of it. At least that's just what I've heard. I've never really read the book The Short Timers, so I really wouldn't know. Anyway, so what I've heard is that this movie is the most accurate representation of the Vietnam War, on like how psychologically people went through it, or just kind of in a sense on how you were treated during boot camp or during the war or anything like that in actual real Marines. I heard this is the closest representation of what it actually is. So basically this movie is called Full Metal Jacket. Now what a Full Metal Jacket is that it is a full metal bullet with the entire powder inside of it, with the bullet in the casing, and then a regular just metal jacket is just the casing. So this movie is basically split up into two different parts. It's almost like two different movies in itself. So the first part of this movie is awesome. The first part of this movie has to do with the Marines. They're at boot camp, they're on Parris Island, and they're all coming in for the very first time. They're all getting their heads shaved in the very first scene and everything like that. And then it comes out with this guy named Sergeant Hartman. Now Sergeant Hartman is awesome. Sergeant Hartman is definitely one of my top 10 favorite characters of all time in movies, for sure. If you have not seen this movie, just watch it, and just, if you don't watch anything else, just watch him rip off all these one-liners. They're just awesome. Like one of my favorite one-liners is, "Miss Mary Jane Rottencrotch and her pink little panties." That was awesome. I love that scene. So in the movie, it follows these two different guys, which is basically Private Pile and Private Joker. Now, in the movie, Sergeant Hartman gives these guys different nicknames, like all of the new Marines. And Private Pile is Private Pile because he's a pile of unit. And then Private Joker is Private Joker because he's just kind of a cocky, you know, kind of a snickering, you know, little, oh, funny guy, smart aleck, huh? Yeah, kind of thing. So, in a sense, you see, the first part kind of follows Private Pile. You almost think he's the main character of the entire movie at the very first part, but he's necessarily not. It's more or less it follows Joker's story later on in the movie, but it kind of focuses on Private Pile in the first. So it follows Private Pile. It shows him like psychologically, like he's just a lazy. He's lazy. That's what it is. He can't do anything right. He's that kid at recess, that fat kid at recess that can't shoot the basket, but he has to be on the team because you need another person to play. That's Private Pile. So, and then it follows him psychologically, and then the end scene with him, whoa. I'm not going to tell you what happens because I don't want to ruin the movie for you, but you will be shocked when you see this. Like, it will haunt you. Anyway, so the movie moves on to the second part, which basically it's the Marines graduate, they get their assignments, they all go out into the Vietnam War, and follows Private Joker's story. Now Private Joker becomes a journalism person, and he works for Stars and Stripes, which is a newspaper basically that reports back to the United States instead of like a CNN person coming in or something. It's his take on it, a real Marine instead of some other reporter. So he basically has a lack of battle experience, like he's never really been in a real gunfight, and he really wants to do that. And some people say he's got the lack of the 1,000-yard stare, which the 1,000-yard stare is when you kill somebody. It kind of looks like, yeah, you're just looking through somebody. That is the 1,000-yard stare. But, so, in a sense, there's one scene in there that has the peace symbol that he has. Private Joker on his helmet, he has a little peace symbol on it, and then he also has written in permanent marker, "Born to Kill" on his thing. It's very much of a contradiction. But the one thing I didn't like about that, I kind of noticed that, but they never really explained it to you. Like the one general like called him out on it, but that was it. Like he never really explained why he has it on his helmet. I didn't really like that. But, I mean, it's something you can always look past. It's not really that big part of a movie. So Private Joker he goes into battle, he's reporting for the Stars and Stripes in the battle scene, and he meets up with this guy named Cowboy, which he came in the Marines with, which was in his one class that he came through with. So they're walking through, you know, Vietnam and everything, and they come across this sniper that's got him just pinned down in this valley or in this city kind of thing. And he goes, and he sends out a scout, and you see him the sniper just, and then the bullet just goes, like you hear it go through his skin, and that is just awesome. Like it's just how it just moves around, cool. So basically, this movie is very good. I would definitely give the first part a 10 out of 10 rating. I absolutely loved it. The second part, I don't know. I kind of fell off. I kind of lost interest. I wasn't really that engaged as I was in the first part. If they could have made the second part just like the first part, this movie would be one of the top 10 movies best of all time probably. So I would have to give this movie a solid 7.5 out of 10 rating. Thank you for your time, and hope you enjoy my video.